Peace and blessings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Veterans Arts on Air. I am your host, Mel L., along with my co-host,
Sarah Ellefson.
and today we have our special guest, George Tumayan. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Yes,
Happy
I
to
got
be
it
here.
right. All right, George is a master's student from the School of Arts Institute here in Chicago, who's been working with Sarah this semester on social media internships. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about that during this episode. We like to talk about social media outreach and the internship life over there at the National Veterans Arts Museum with George. But first, we would like to share with you all a brand new video created by our web developer and multimedia coordinator, Patrick Putsey, all right, about Veterans Day events that happened over at the National Veterans Arts Museum. So while we are at this, keep in mind that the telephone lines are open, so please feel free to give us a call, 312-738-1060. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Veterans Day and some of the things that we did, and we'd also like to hear from you all to see about what it was that you were up to. So please give us a look at it. All right, so stay tuned for that video.
Esprit de corps is a phrase taken from the French that means spirit of the eye. It is generally used in military contexts to refer to group morale, comradeship, or the capacity of a group of people to pull together persistently and consistently in pursuit of a common purpose. We chose Esprit de corps for the name of this exhibition because what we most wanted to emphasize with this show was the ways in which a communal understanding of the real impact of war can help individuals, whether veteran or civilian, as well as our society at large, learn from the challenging or traumatizing experiences and to explore how creative expression can facilitate that resilience.
The idea that creative expression can make a powerful contribution to the healing process has been embraced by many different cultures. Throughout recorded history, people have used picture stories, dances, and chants as healing rituals. Art is the experience that reflects personal emotions, and finding a way to connect with these emotions. Art helps people to express experiences that are too difficult to put into words. It decreases anxiety, stress, and mood disturbances.
That's great. Well, it looks like we have a caller. Steve, you are on the air. Peace and blessings.
Yes, I want to make a couple of points, if I might. And I think it's wonderful that people actually take time out of their lives to honor the veterans, those people who have served and have made that commitment over the course of their lives. I do think that sometimes we tend to just think of it as another holiday. It's another day off. It's another time, that we can do something else, rather than actually contemplating what the day is supposed to honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
And beyond that, it's extremely important to remember that there are public policy issues that directly affect veterans. We just had a cut in the SNAP program. Over 1 million U.S. veterans received supplemental nutritional program benefits from that program, and their benefits have just been cut. So these are people who have served our nation, put their lives on the line, and yet we have chosen, as a result of these cuts, to cut that basic necessity that puts food on their table. So though I think it's important to recognize the contributions of veterans and honor them in the way that you've just done, we need to talk about public policy as well. You need to call your congressmen, you need to call senators, you need to write in, you need to make sure that veterans are taken care of, because in the end, honoring them is a wonderful thing. I can tell you that they would much rather ensure that their rent is paid, that their heat is on, that there's food in their refrigerators, and that's what we need to look at as well. So thank you for giving me the time to say this.
Oh, definitely.
Thank
Appreciate
you for calling
it. In. It's funny because, that is actually one of the things that the first time I spoke at the National Veterans Arts Museum, was one of the issues that we had spoken about. Our veterans coming home and then not having anything set aside for them and things of that nature. So it is definitely something that we as an organization at the National Veterans Arts Museum are trying to make people aware of, myself in my personal life and just the places that I go in and around this country. Speaking on veterans issues is definitely something that I look into, and if there's anything that I personally can do or we as an organization can do to help get the word out, we are always looking for people to call and give us that information that we may be missing or overlooking.
And actually, on our social media outlets as well, which we can talk to George a bit about more too. That's one of our best venues for awareness raising. We're on TV once a month, but social media happens every day, and it's so pervasive, and it's one of the number one news sources for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Go figure. All right. Well, while we've got you here, we're gonna run down a list because you got a lot of exploits here. So, George, you are currently studying at the Chicago Art Institute. All right.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your studies, a master's program now, right?
Yeah, so I'm in the Masters of New Arts Journalism, which is Patrick Putsey, actually, the guy who just directed the video we watched.
Right.
He's a recent graduate of that program.
Absolutely. Okay. Alrighty. So we're talking a little bit about what made you want to pursue an internship with the National Veterans Arts Museum?
I'd always been interested in veterans and honoring them, but I didn't really have much background in it myself, and so when I found the National Veterans Art Museum, I kind of saw a unique opportunity to honor it, and then with my art and design background, it just kind of aligned itself. It kind of fit with what I was trying to do.
Okay. So. All right. So some of the things that you're doing there, I know the museum have our Facebook and its Twitter and YouTube accounts. So do you do anything with those particular areas, like?
Yeah. So with the Facebook page, we're trying to get more visual content, and we're trying to gear it to more kind of graphics and different visuals that will target the audience. With the Twitter, it's more about creating a conversation and getting that conversation out there. And with the YouTube, actually, Can TV, this is right here.
All right. So.
And sorry, there's other pages too that I'm working on getting into motion. So there's the Google Plus. Keep your eyes out for that.
All right.
And we definitely rely on user feedback to determine where to put our energy and our efforts. What is it that you want to see? Where do you want to interact with us?
Absolutely. What is Mel going to wear next time?
Right.
All those things.
We need to be
find all
opening
that
these
stuff
important
out.
conversations.
All right.
Yeah.
So now, while we're here, I've got a couple of photos of some of the different designs and things that you have done for the museum. So some of us may look at these things as, oh, this is just something simple, but somebody's got to do these things, right? And if you look at the detail that goes into a lot of these things, it's like, yeah, somebody took a couple of hours or a little bit of time at least to actually put these things together. So the first one that we are looking at here, which is a sign that I think should be seen everywhere in and around or near the museum, is that we are free today. And not just today, but every day. The museum is always open. You can walk through the doors, just say hi to the lady sitting at the desk, and she'll let you right in. Right? Sometimes you don't even have to say hi. She'll let you in anyway.
And we do get a fair number of calls or emails to the info account wondering what we charge. So this was one of, I thought, a really great, bright, fun way to draw attention to, hey, we're free today and every
Absolutely.
day. I was really jazzed when he showed me this.
Yeah, so.
That was kind of what went into it. Was I just from the days that I had been answering the phones, I had noticed a kind of repeat pattern of people asking, how to get there, and then at some point everyone would ask admission price, and so I'd say, well, we're free, and then some people were saying, really? Like there was some confusion. So I thought, what better way to get that message out there than.
All right. So now, the museum is constantly looking for people to come in and help them with the various things that they're doing. So I'm going to ask you, we're going to deviate from the script a little bit. I want to know personally, what is a typical day interning at the museum like for you? Bet you didn't see this one coming, did you? Yeah.
Maybe I did.
Right.
No, it was just. I think basically reporting to Sarah right away.
Okay.
And I think opening up my laptop, my sketchbook, kind of brainstorming some ideas right away,
Okay.
and then kind of looking at the insights and seeing what the recent trends have been. What's going on like who the most recent because Facebook tracks everything, and Twitter does too, and all the outlets do. And so one thing I've been trying to do more recently is tune into that every day and figure out how to better cater all the media outlets and the website to the audiences.
Okay.
So,
Maybe you can talk a little bit about the tools that you use. You've been teaching me a little bit of Photoshop and Illustrator.
yeah. So obviously, especially for the visual content, I'm using a lot of Photoshop and Illustrator to make it. And so, yeah, that's been a big part of the job, I would say, is, anything visual you see here is going to be using Adobe Creative Suite. And so that's, I think any social media team should not underestimate, I guess, the power of, any kind of image editing software. So it doesn't have to be Photoshop, but something of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
I
been
use
taking
the cheap
lots of
stuff.
photographs too, which has been wonderful.
All right. So those are some of the skills that you have used from what you're learning at school?
Yeah, I'm still learning, of course. Still
Right.
trying to expand that.
All right. Well, for someone who may be out there and wanting to know how school and interning kind of will affect them on a day-to-day, like how do you manage those two, your schooling versus your time at the museum?
I've been lucky. Everyone here has been very flexible and letting me put school first, but at the same time, I've got tasks that are assigned to me, and it's always very clear what needs to be done and what has to be happening. But everyone here's been more than accommodating to letting me get my classwork done and manage that.
There we go. So we're not interfering with any of the classwork while we're sitting here, are we?
No, we're good.
All right, just checking, because like you say, school comes first. So, so we got the school terms. What are some of the projects that you're working on outside of? Obviously, we've just seen a couple of those, but what other projects are you working on there currently?
I think one of the biggest things right now is to track the insights more and kind of get a better sense of the audience and how to cater content to that. But that's kind of more on broader terms. I mean, I'm obviously trying to come up with content for the holidays because that's going to be huge, and that's a good way to reach people. So right now, Christmas, New Year's, kind of get the museum to.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what a veterans Christmas would look like over there at the museum. Like, I know several of our veterans know what the holidays are like when you're at home, and then also when you're away from home and being away from that family. So I'd be kind of interested to see what we come up with. So next month I'm going to be asking. We're going to see what happens. All right. So you're going to have to call in and let us know, like, this is what we were doing. This is what happened. All right.
Yeah, and what you think.
All right.
We like your feedback.
So now, is there anything else? Any other questions you would like to ask to George before you go?
He's too modest and would probably not talk about all the work he did fine-tuning all of the material that accompanied Esprit de Corps.
Okay.
So the postcard design and all of the graphic design that went into the gallery guide, which was a multi-page, really complex document, that was all of his doing.
All right. Good to go. Looks like we have another caller. Joe, you are
Hey, how
on
you
air.
doing, man? One of the things I noticed is we do need to have more people volunteering for different organizations to bring in that fresh blood and information, exchange of ideas and opinion. And one of the things that I noticed, especially since I'm a person with a disability, a lot of people that's supposed to have the training and expertise in terms of how to help people, guess what? They don't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when somebody that's coming in with that fresh blood and they have the knowledge and experience, they can pass on certain things that people that's supposed to know, they don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
I agree. I definitely think that sometimes it's best to be on the outside looking in, especially for something that's been going on for a very long time. Because if you're constantly doing the same things, you're going to get the same results. And if you know something needs to be
You'd be
changed.
amazed. There's so much in terms of in technology and assisted adaptive technology that can help people. And when you look at certain technologies out there, it almost put them on the same footing with a person that don't have a disability. And when you have people, like you're saying, doing the same thing day in and day out, and they don't go out and get that information that can help people, you know, they just are hindering instead of trying to help people.
Absolutely.
I just had to take care back.
All right. Peace and blessings. Huh? All righty. So he makes another great point. You know, sometimes, and I think that's one of the things I like about being around the museum is that, you know, while we have a lot of our older veterans, our Vietnam guys, since the time that I've been there, we've actually had a lot more of our younger, like our Iraqi veterans from the first Gulf War to the current war on terrorism come in with new ideas and invigorating and changing things up. So, again, it's definitely always good to kind of shake things up a little bit, you know, knock everything out the box. You know, sometimes you got to take them off the square.
Yep, and it's nice to be able to talk about traditions and what's worth keeping and what's worth shaking up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the museum has done a pretty good job of that too, especially with the website nvam.org and some of the different things that we're doing on there now with some of the photos and the archives and being able to go through. And if you know an artist by name, you can actually search them up and find their works. Or if you just want to go browsing through some of the stuff at the museum and haven't quite made it out of the house in that cold winter day, you can actually go in there and you can find all of that stuff there as well.
Yeah.
Right?
And our new element of the social media that is really fun and exciting is the SoundCloud page, which is essentially like online radio.
Yeah.
So we have a whole bunch of brand new interviews with veterans who are in Esprit de Corps and then in Tenacity and Truth.
Yeah.
And you can have little conversations with them, stream them, hear what they have to say about their art and experiences.
That's nice.
I didn't know about that.
SoundCloud is great.
Yeah.
Has it
been around a long time?
It's been around a little while. Like
All right.
I know a lot of my artists and a lot of the people that I work with all have them. I actually have one just so I can listen to other people's music.
Well, what's your handle? We got to plug you some.
Mel Elder Misfit, I believe is the name.
All right.
So
Good.
Mel Elder Misfit, you can catch me there. Instagram Misfits Mel, that's MISFITZMEL.
Okay.
You can also catch me on Twitter at Through the Doors, THRUDADOORS, and Facebook. By the government. Ooh.
We'll get all
Melody
these
Line,
links
but
when this goes on YouTube.
You guys
We'll
can
get all
find
these
all of
links
that
up
stuff.
there.
It'll be out there somewhere because I know that's a lot of stuff. But again, social media, and especially when you're away from all of your people, like I am. Like I'm out here in Chicago. Most of my family is in Michigan or out in Mississippi or places like that. So out here, like my family is almost non-existent. My closest relative lives about 2 hours away. So for me, social media became one of those ways to keep up with the family more so than anything else.
Yeah.
And then it just became a thing. It's like, oh, hey, while I'm here, hey, go check out this video that I just did. Or, hey, I'm performing at this place. Or, hey, I've got a friend that's doing this fundraiser. So we can get all of that stuff out. And it's a great way to network and meet new people as well. So getting your message out, meeting new people, finding new ideas, you can do all of that at the touch of a button.
Yeah. And was it Chicago I Love You?
Chicago I Love You Festival.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a fun time. Hey up to my guy Tom who put this festival together. This was our second year of doing this festival, and instead of it being 30 days in one particular venue, we did 10 days with about 2 or 3 venues a night doing shows. So the Chicago I Love You Festival got out lots of different artists, from hip-hop artists to rock to country to comedians to, you name it, they were all out there. So, and again, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram was one of the ways that we got the message out there. So, and the number of artists, just the number of artists you'll find anywhere is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah. I did a lot of stuff that month. That was great.
Yeah, you were busy.
You know, the more I think about it, it's like, man, that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Now I got a question for you, though.
Okay.
Seeing as though Veterans Day just passed, Thanksgiving just passed,
Yeah.
what, outside of the busyness at the museum, is there anything special that you did over the Veterans Day holiday?
I have to admit, most of my Veterans Day weekend was at the museum. But actually, Steve's first comment about how people tend to treat the holiday as an extended vacation and not a time to think about veterans. Every Veterans Day weekend, I end up at a conference. And so this Saturday of Veterans Day weekend, I was in Milwaukee for a conference presenting a paper. And I thought to myself, this is kind of a bummer. This is not what this weekend is supposed to be for.
Absolutely.
But then I zoomed on back and made it to the fundraiser that Saturday night. So all was not lost.
All right. How about you, George?
I was at the show.
At the museum the whole time?
Yep.
All right. Well, I got to spend my Veterans Day on the road in Vegas, of all places, for a wedding. So I went out there, and while it wasn't the typical work, it was a lot of stuff going on out there. But again, I was out there meeting fellow veterans, or everywhere I go, especially around Veterans Day, I have a tendency to shout it out more so than I do on any normal day. On a normal day, like when it comes up in conversation, we definitely speak about it. But on those days like Veterans Day, every time I step into a door, hey, I'm a veteran, speak to me. Like, it's one of those,
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to draw that
connect.
attention. Like, and again, like, not everybody takes Veterans Day for what it is meant to be. So sometimes you just got to catch them in the face with it. Like, hey, look at me. I'm a veteran. You're welcome. Something. I don't know. Like, sometimes you just got to go there.
Although, this is a funny little story. At the Veterans Day opening, someone was paying special attention to some photographs that are part of the things they carried. And I introduced myself to him, and he said, "Oh, I'm Laszlo Condor." And I said, "These are your photographs." And he said, "Yes, they are. And I'm in town from Hungary for another event, and I thought I'd stop by this Veterans Day." I thought, how cool is that? What a great place for you to spend your Veterans Day. Glad to have you here.
Definitely a great way to spend your Veterans Day, especially considering I loved that exhibit.
Yeah.
Right? I carried a few of those things. Right? It's great.
Yeah.
All right? So, again, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at National Veterans Arts Museum. We are open
Tuesday through Saturday.
In the Portage Park neighborhood. All right, great new location. If you have yet to get there, you gotta make your way there. It's a beautiful space. It's a little bit bigger, so everything's going well out in that area. It is free. We are open for free every day that we're open. So come out and visit us. Everybody say, stop in, tell them I sent you. You're not gonna do anything special other than say hello, but that's about it. One question for you before we get off the air, so I'm going to make this quick. What is the best part of your internship?
I think it was definitely getting to the hands-on experience of taking down the most recent exhibit, Not About Bombs, and then helping to put up the new exhibition, Esprit de Corps.
All right.
For me to get that actual real-life museum experience was, what an art student could, really only hope for, so.
All right. And the worst experience in
I'll
10
cover my
seconds.
ears.
I really have nothing bad to say there.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, there's
All right.
nothing I couldn't do it.
All right. Well, once again, I'm Ben Mel, Sarah, George. Peace and blessings. We're out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you.